times in the game of basketball where one team can hold a lead over another for much of the game, yet everyone watching has some innate sense that their advantage simply won't hold. And while it might come as a shock to the Grizzlies, there were plenty of signs that their big lead was an illusion. So let's look at some of the footage, since it will be obvious why the Warriors were never going to lose this game. It started early, as Steph targets Steven Adams in the pick and roll. This was very well contained, but watch how Curry's screen gets Wiggins an opening over the top. Adams' instinct is to help on the cutter, but because he had switched on to Curry, it leaves Steph wide open in the corner for a shot he normally doesn't miss. But then off the long rebound, Kuminga screens Jones off of Clay. Jackson Jr. doesn't realize he should be there to help, and Thompson gets a wide open shot going to his left. He even hops into it, yet this one misses too. Steven Adams got the start as Ja Morant wasn't available, and his traditional drop coverage yields another wide open Clay shot, but it is going to his right, which is a lot harder for righties to make. But this is Clay frickin' Thompson. In transition, Jackson Jr. decides to pick up Draymond Green, leaving Adams to pick up Wiggins. That doesn't really happen, and a pretty good three-point shooter gets a wide-open transition three from the left wing but leaves it short. Remember that revolving doors play that got everyone's attention in Game 3? Here it is with Curry and Clay, but with less slingshot action. It leads to a double team of Wiggins down low to support the size mismatch, but Wiggins misses Draymond wide open for a cut and a layup when Dillon Brooks was so preoccupied by Curry on the weak side. But they again attack Adams on the rejected pick and roll, forcing that switch again, and again Curry gets the wide open corner shot but doesn't take it. With the shot clock winding down, he should have gone for a quick mid-range pull-up, and this decision cost them a higher percentage shot. Supreme ball movement as they attack Adams again in the pick and roll. The mistake is two defenders going to Draymond on the roll. Good X out by Brooks, but this closeout should have been by Jones. Instead, it's the slower-footed Adams, and they give up a wide-open shot to a great shooter. The Warriors rarely let you relax on defense, and on this transition attack, they flow right into a low-post feed to Green. I get why Anderson would be worried about Poole following his pass back for a handoff, but he gets way too high, and it's an easy backdoor layup that Poole promptly smokes point blank. All of these shots have been in the first quarter alone, and all the Grizzlies could muster was a 4-point lead after 12 minutes. Great recovery to take away the Klay Thompson shot off the handoff, but Porter drives middle. Despite Clark being in great position, Zaire Williams steps in front of him. The only problem is, this is help one pass away off of Steph frickin' Curry. After watching this practice shot miss, the Grizzlies must be saying to themselves,
I just can't help the feeling I'm living a life of illusion.
Another way to make sure your eyes aren't fooling you is to go to a game in person, and that's where Seatgeek comes in. The best deals on these playoff games can be found by downloading the Seatgeek app, where they grade the price of the ticket to let you know what kind of value you're getting. They've got you covered for sporting events, concerts, and the theater, so don't miss a chance to see these guys up close and personal. Best of all, you save $20 off your first purchase by using my code BBALL, so don't wait. Use SeatGeek and get in the game so you can appreciate the hustle the Grizzlies were giving out just to keep up with the Warriors' offense. The handoff to Poole catches Jackson a few steps too low, and the shot fake gets him way out of position. Great help by Clark to cut that off, and Jones can afford to gamble a little with a 4-point cushion, but at the cost of giving a pretty good shooter a wide open look, and the Grizzlies are dodging more bullets than Neo in the Matrix. Tyus Jones gets caught ball watching under the basket as his man is backing up into the right corner. By the time he realizes the pass is thrown, it's another wide open three-pointer that Lee bricks. The triangle offense is alive and well, as we see this gorgeous blind pig action when the ball is thrown to Draymond underneath Poole, who then cuts backdoor for the handoff. Adams' instinct to drop down on these actions must have made Taylor Jenkins a little nervous. In transition again, I get why Bane wants to top lock Curry to prevent the handoff. It's a simple read to cut back door. Jones flies by, but all Curry needed to do was dump it off to Wiggins or just make the easy reverse layup. That said, Wiggins cleans up the mess on aisle 6. In the third, they run the oldest play in the book, their low post split. Watch what Adams does. He just backs up when the best way to defend this is to switch. Curry bricks another practice shot, and Jenkins has got to be worried that their lead is only 4. Another backdoor cut is smothered by the excellent show of hands by Brooks and Adams, and why Draymond did not get a rip-through foul on this play is completely baffling. Maybe him yelling at the referee entranced Jaren Jackson Jr. since he has no idea his man is jogging along the perimeter into a wide open shot, but this one clanks off the front of the rim. Credit to Wiggins for making all the hustle plays for the Warriors last night, as this one directly leads to a lick your thumb, check the win because you're so wide open shot that bangs off the back rim. On the spread pick and roll, Curry decided enough with this long range stuff. Let's get to the hoop, and I know there's a little contact to his back, but this is still a layup he cold smoked. Curry as a screen setter is what makes him so lethal. Watch how both defenders go to Poole here, giving him a head start as Brooks foolishly tries to shoot the gap over the screen. Yet another wide open shot for the best shooter we've ever seen, and another back rim miss. They put Adams back in the dance. He's doing his best to contain, but Curry sidesteps into a wide open 17-footer, and you can see he's aiming it on this one, instantly knowing it's off to the right. Their fortunes didn't change much early in the fourth as Memphis went on a 14-4 run to end the third and start the fourth. The pick and roll catches Adams dropping and Williams stuck 3 steps behind, but Poole knows immediately that this one was way short, and I mean way short. While the Warriors racked up 16 turnovers, many of them were on great plays by the defense, but there were a few that led me to scratch my head vigorously. Draymond wants to throw this to Kuminga, who's open if he actually throws it to him, despite Clay's man being in the vicinity. Watch where Draymond is before he leaves the screen, then realize it was 6 seconds before the ball got to him, but he still wasn't in the front court before he touched it again. When you're struggling to score as much as the Warriors were, losing out on possessions where you don't even get to shoot the ball are even more magnified. But in the fourth, all those mistakes on defense were bound to catch up to them, as Otto Porter deserves a massive game ball. The initial D is great as Jackson steps up on Poole, then switches onto him, eliminating any potential shot around the hoop. I'm not ecstatic with the Williams help from one pass away, but Jackson does a great job to smother another potential shot by Poole. As the shot clock winds down, I understand why Jones would abandon his man to stop penetration, but this is the Warriors, a team that knows how to move that ball and find open shots when Zaire had no help of guarding 2 players. The drop coverage by Adams on this inside ball screen must have had Grizzlies fans swallowing hard. More great defense and effort, but the Warriors continue weaving until they lure 2 guys to Poole, who makes the easy pass to the popping Porter and then finds an open shot after getting Williams up in the air. Without Ja Morant, it's hard for the Grizzlies to just find someone else to be the man, but this turnover was a doozy as he just kicks this one out of bounds. More triangle offense as Poole runs pinch post with Green on the left side, and they get the center opposite cut from Wiggins and pin down for Curry. Brooks was in great position to top lock to start, but then allows Curry to not only cut off the screen, but he goes underneath it, giving all the room Curry needs to cut the lead to 3. Here's a cool baseline out of bounds play where they use the concept of the elevator doors to shoot Clay between them and open in the corner for what should have been a 3 had his foot not been on the line. Taylor Jenkins has to be infuriated that Brooks called this play out, but then doesn't get in the way of the pass himself. On this sideline out of bounds, why is Jackson so slow reacting to Green cutting up to set the screen? He's 5 feet too low, and when Curry rejects the screen, Brooks is completely faked out, Jackson can't offer support, and it's yet another wide open 3 to the best shooter we've ever seen. The defensive breakdowns continued in crunch time, Jackson just hanging in the restricted area while leaving his man wide open at the top of the key. Luckily for Memphis, Wiggins was way off. The Grizzlies rely on their offense to generate a shot, but it's unclear why they force this switch to attack Klay Thompson. Why not Curry or Poole? Despite getting a step on Klay, Brooks gets cleanly stripped, losing a golden opportunity to end the game. On this out of bounds, check how Brooks tries to anticipate the Curry cut to the top. So, Steph just goes to the corner. Mind-boggling that he was left open for even a second. They do get away with that, but Bane cannot stunt at Curry and leave himself a 15-foot closeout on Poole of all people, leading to 2 free throws to cut the lead to 1. I just don't know why you want to bring Draymond Green anywhere near the ball in this situation. He's too good of a defender. Jones finds Brooks on the wing, and although everyone on Twitter wanted to rip Brooks for this shot, there wasn't a lot of time left on the shot clock, so this was probably the highest quality shot they were going to get. And I thought it was in until it grazes the rim short. But this is where the game was lost, and all their defensive mistakes caught up with them. Nobody picks up Draymond Green, which wouldn't have been so bad if Green hadn't set a drag screen at midcourt for Steph Curry, who gets a free run to the hoop, and now they have no choice but to foul and put one of the all-time great free throw shooters on the line for their first lead of the game. Down one, I'm sure they wish they had Ja Morant out there, but they instead want to go down low to Jackson against one of the all-time best defenders in the history of the game in a situation where refs tend to swallow their whistles. This is a bold strategy, Cotton, and it doesn't work out well for them. And this loose ball foul is controversial. Bane doesn't extend his arms, but I'd argue his momentum causes enough force to Curry's back to influence his trajectory out of bounds. Bane certainly doesn't argue the call, and I think the replay shows there's enough of a push to give him too much of an advantage, and the ref had no choice. Here's where the coaching needs to adapt. We know Taylor Jenkins is from the Popovich tree, and for all his revolutionizing of the game, Pop still won't take the foul when up by 3 and under 10 seconds left. A decidedly dated approach. And here's another one, going for the quick 2 when you know you're going to have to foul Steph Curry immediately. It makes little sense to do this. The much more modern approach is to try and find a 3 to tie the game. Otherwise, you're just wasting time to be in the same position on the next possession, which is exactly what happens. And on this three-pointer, they don't run a play at all, hoping Jackson Jr. can find some daylight on the pitch back from 6 feet behind the line. Does Draymond hit him across the left wrist? Maybe. Probably. But the refs don't see it, the ball has no chance, and the Warriors effectively ended this series by taking a 3-1 lead. These are the plays the young Grizzlies will need to learn from to make the next step, along with updating some of their core coaching philosophy like going for that quick 2. If that happens, they can get into the next tier of elite teams. But until that day comes, if you think you're going to beat the Warriors playing defense like the Grizzlies did, then you're just